But what's more cool than any site is Storm's movie review.
Yep. And this week, Storm reviewed Benchwarmers.
He did.
He did.
Let's see what Storm had to think.
Had to think?
Well, he had to think about it.
Storm, you must think.
Yeah.
Now.
Go, Stormy, please.
Please.
Stormy.
Well, I'm so glad spring is finally here. Why? Because it's not winter. And with spring, I get to review another great baseball film. Now, last year I reviewed a film called Fever Pitch, which nobody ever really heard of and nobody ever really watched. But this time around, it's not the case, because this week, I'm reviewing The Benchwarmers. Now, The Benchwarmers is about 3 young adults who were rejects as kids, and through some odd entanglements, they got involved in a tournament against a group of other teenage baseball teams. The catch is, it's only the 3 of them. Now, it stars Rob Schneider, who has made famous by transforming into other things, like women, David Spade, who is a lot funnier than people give him credit for, and John Heater, also known as Napoleon Dynamite. Minor segue. Napoleon Dynamite is a perfect example of a movie where nothing ever goes on. Its stupidity makes it great. It's so stupid that it's funny. When you take into consideration that Adam Sandler is the one in charge of Happy Madison Studios, it's pretty amazing that they're able to make these high-quality films, like Big Daddy and The Waterboy, and now The Benchwarmers, which is another great sports comedy with an ending that I never even saw coming. Another thing that this movie focused on was nerds, and I mean nerds with an exclamation point. In the movie, John Lovitz was a nerd who grew up to make billions. Tell you what, flag 1. Not all nerds are going to make a lot of money in their lifetime. While nerds might be smarter than the average populace, most of them are just too busy playing World of Warcraft to do anything with their intelligence. And flag number 2. This movie just went overkill on the Star Wars references and props. Minor segue. Now, it's apparent that nerds like Star Wars. I mean, I enjoy the movies too. But I don't understand why all the fanatics insist that The Empire Strikes Back is the best film. It's obvious that Return of the Jedi is the best film. If you're a Star Wars fanatic, there are only 2 things that you should be concerned about. 1, explosions. 2, Princess Leia in a metal bikini. Now let me remind you, these 3 guys were up against Little Leaguers. Reminded me of when I was in Little League. I hated it. I always wanted to quit. And whenever I did, somebody would try to get me back with some inspirational statement. Strike 3? Yeah, I quit. Nah, I don't want to practice. See, unlike the rest of the world, I'm okay with being bad at baseball. It's not like I'm going anywhere with it. Major segue. This would also explain my continued inability to swim. Well, I almost drowned back there. Good thing there's an invention called a life vest. No. Why would I voluntarily do something that I don't want to do? I might as well be watching a Julia Roberts movie marathon. And why I was unable to ride a bike until I was about 15 years old. Dang. Falling off a bike hurts. Okay, now you're just being stupid with these statements. Let's analyze this one. I did try, and I did fail, and now I have a huge gash in my arm. Had I have not tried, gee, I would have been safe and sound at my house, playing Nintendo. What is it with you in these statements? You're just like the voices in my head and the people who are sending me advertisements for Viagra. You just won't leave me alone.
Wow.
I have lots of things I want to say about Storm's movie review now, but we need to get to our guest.
Yeah.